All right, let's talk rituals. So, rituals of connection are a really cool way of creating like this habitual way of connecting with your partner, right? Ritual. So, we are doing something in the same way at the same time. So, it is becoming something that is very important for our relationship, that it almost kind of needs to happen in order for our relationship to feel solid. So one of those rituals, I'll give you an example, that Charlie, my husband, and I often do, often would be a lie because we do it every single day, which would be having coffee in the morning together. And the ritualization around that has like shifted a little bit, but like from getting it ready the night before. So like I love to do that and I even love to program it so then nobody has to do anything. But forever, we used to always say, we write on those wedding good luck at your good luck in your marriage and those wedding things. We'd say, first person up gets the coffee. And that's what we used to do. So the first person that kind of woke up and we knew was the first one stirring around would just get out of bed and go make the coffee. And then we spend, the morning together. And that could be 15 minutes. And sometimes that's an hour. Sometimes it's just we stay in our bed and we drink our coffee. And sometimes we go out, we sit down somewhere, but we are together and we are, having our coffee, which is something we both love. And then we're having like conversation. It sometimes has some logistics in it. We might be talking a little bit about what might be coming up in the day. But mostly it's just more connecting. It's just more, maybe sometimes it's just us looking at our phones too. And then maybe talking about what we're reading. It might be a political thing. And then we throw out something frustrated and then we come and we talk together. Sometimes it's planning for the weekend. And sometimes, like I said, maybe it's just quiet and being together. But that's one of our rituals. And when we don't do it, we can feel it because it's just a really great way to start the day for the two of us. And so rituals in this module, which is our, again, back to our shared meaning system, having rituals of connection are very important for a relationship, right? So again, this could be really small and these can be really big. So it could just be when you come home at the end of the day, is there a ritual around the greeting? Do we stop what we're doing and we come together? Do we take 10 minutes and check in about our day? How do we leave each other? Do we call each other on the way home? And some of these rituals are not healthy, by the way, which we might want to end. The calls on the way home, I feel like, are never that great. Unless it's like, do you need to pick something up from the store? Otherwise, it's just boring. And then you're spoiling that come together time. You've already said all of the things. So what I want you to think about is like, what rituals do I remember having as a kid? Did my parents have rituals in their relationship? I had one client recently said that her parents, she remembered, got up every morning together, same kind of thing, had coffee and did a devotional. So I think maybe they read their Bibles together. Beautiful. It was an amazing way for the two of those people to start their day, to feel connected to their spirituality and their religion and to one another because that connected them as well. So fantastic. But what was really actually interesting when I had this conversation with my client and her partner was her partner said, yeah, but did they do that when they had little kids? And she goes, yeah, I don't think so. So we have to keep our expectations in order as far as what we can do. They can do that when their kids are older because their little kids aren't knocking on the door saying, you have to go to the bathroom. Can you feed me? Right? They had more capacity and space and they took it and they created something. I don't know this person, these two people, right? This is parents of a couple of mine, but I would assume that they probably had smaller rituals that they did when the kids were little. And then so that they were able to then have that longer ritual. I don't know. Again, I don't know this couple. I would imagine it would be harder for them to have come up with that if they didn't have little things that were connecting them along the way, right? As their kids were babies, what could have been those rituals for the two of them to connect? What rituals do you want to create as a family if you have kids? A lot of times we look at these maybe in terms of holidays. How do we celebrate different holidays Are we a, multicultural family? Do we celebrate different holidays? Are we a blended family, right? What holidays and traditions were celebrated in the first marriage that maybe some of the children might still want? That feels hard. And what new rituals can you create in this new, blended family that you have? How do we keep in some of the old and bring in some of the new? The ritual, again, things so much are in their words. It's a ritual of connection. It is something we do with consistency because we know it will connect us. Because we know that afterward, we're going to feel more connected and better about our relationship. Date night. Date night is a total ritual. What I want for my date nighters, if you're a big date nighter, not a lot of us are, but if you are, what kind of dates are you going on? And are you being intentional with them, right? Or is it, okay, we do date night every Thursday and then we just do it, which again is great. It's getting time out, it's time together. But does it have intentionality to it? How are you spending time on the date? Because sometimes we spend time on the date talking about logistics, right? And if the things we're doing on the dates kind of then like force that, then maybe we need to be looking at different types of dates. Maybe dinner is a place where we get antsy waiting for food and we pick up our cell phone and we start looking at our list. Then we start talking about our list. Maybe doing something more interactive, like a cooking course, where you can't really talk logistics. You kind of have to be a team. You're not necessarily talking in depth because you're learning something, but it is taking some of those negative interactions within a date away, right? If a cell phone comes out often, then think about that. If I'm at dinner, is that wise? Because there's a lot of time to kill. So if you are a date night person, that's what I want you to think about. If you're not, let's think about ways. That's a real easy ritual to start to create, is having a date night, right? I think I've talked about before, you can have all kinds of date nights. You can do, surprise date night, mystery. It's not surprise, it's called mystery date night, where one person plans the whole thing. And that happens, maybe every month. So you plan 1 month, your partner plans 1 month. That's a really fun ritual. Rituals help us kind of also remember why we're doing this thing, right? We have to create the space and time to be together. And if that means we have to create a ritual and make it this habitual thing we do, we really need to, because if we don't, we go into the habit of not. We are habitual people. And so if we are not creating the rituals of connection, if we are not actively involved in being and doing with that ritual of connection, we are not probably connecting very much. We are not being intentional about creating the time together. We are creating the rituals of disconnection. We are picking up our cell phones all the time. We are turning on TVs. We are going into separate corners. We are popping open the wine bottle or the scotch bottle. We're grubbing the edibles, to relieve us from the word stress. But it's just disconnecting. It's just pulling us apart. We are then constantly having rituals of disconnection. I just literally termed that. But I believe that's what we are doing instead. Because we're, again, habitual. So if we're not actively creating rituals of connection, we're kind of actively creating rituals of disconnection, because we're starting to put in things, okay, so I don't feel like I can talk to my partner. Maybe I go online and do a little, Reddit, or a little flirt with girls or boys online. And then that becomes the ritual. Maybe the ritual is going and watching porn and masturbating. Disconnection. Unhealthy addiction. We'll start to pull into these directions. Again, their habit. So when I say ritual, people are like, oh, what? We do this all the time. I don't know. It's well, you're doing that stuff, but in the opposite direction. You're opening up a bottle of wine every single night. And I can say that because I used to. I'm not passing judgment on you, but I am saying that is a complete ritual of disconnection. You've decided to connect with that bottle and nobody else. And that becomes a habit. So these rituals are not just going to come easy. Creating a habit is hard. Breaking a habit is hard. I am someone who smoked cigarettes for years. I drank alcohol for years. I know the level of disconnection those addictions can bring and how hard they were to break and how intentional I had to be to not find another addiction to go create a ritual with. I had to be extremely intentional about how am I taking the time that I now get back because I'm not killing myself, and where am I going to put it? I have to be intentional. I'm intentional about spending time with my children, intentional about spending time with my partner. I'm creating rituals of connection with all of them. And I do have rituals of disconnection still, right? Like mom wants to go upstairs and watch Dateline now. It's 9:00. Good night. It's my ritual of disconnection, but I've given what I can for the day. And it's with intention. I am intentionally watching this terrible show. I don't know. It maybe makes me feel better about my life. But I'm intentional about it. And it's communicated. And we all know by 9, mom's tired. She's going upstairs. She's got her Dateline on. So think about what are the rituals of connection that you would like to create? And also think about where are my rituals of disconnection? I'm going to have to redo my worksheet so we can add this in there. Because we do have them. And I would really love for you to get clear on what are your rituals of disconnection? What are your rituals of connection, if any? And what ones do you want? And as always, what am I going to have to sacrifice? Because you're going to have to. What am I going to have to give up? I hope it's worth it. I really hope we all find that doing things with our partner is going to be worth the sacrifice over here that we have to give up, because we're going to have to in order to start putting in the energy, effort, and time to create this new ritual of connection. So let's get busy. This is fun. I mean, we can do all kinds of crazy fun rituals of ways that we can connect. And it may be hard at first because it might be a new thing. But then my hope is, again, working document, we come back, we keep adding really cool ways that we can connect with each other. All right, enjoy.